Imprecise and unspecific statements, and certainly no reference at all to President Mubarak. This after he, on Thursday night, disappointed the entire crowd there by appearing on television and saying that he will not resign.
Well, the numbers are starting to gradually increase out here. It started out early in the morning with roughly a couple of hundred people gathered outside the palace. There are now up to perhaps 1,000 people here. More numbers are expected, that there seems to be a crowd marching now from Tahrir onto the palace.
Another mass of protesters heading towards Tahrir Square.
It seems to be a kind of new front line, if you like. Friday prayers have ended and thousands of people coming through towards the television station and radio station building.
There's a lot of armory there. This is a potent symbol of this regime. It's its communication center, and so therefore there's probably unease in the military about what's going on there.
Every minute goes by, thousands of pro-democracy protesters are joining a crowd that is easily in the hundreds of thousands.
Unlike the day before on Thursday, where the statements that were coming out of the government were very much hyped and anticipated, Friday's events seemed very, very subtle and actually very rapid in terms of the development. We knew that by Friday morning, dozens, if not hundreds of protesters had moved towards the state and television building. Hundreds more had gone towards the presidential palace. So we knew that the Liberation Square protesters had slightly taken to the streets in a different manner. And by Friday afternoon, we were told that there was going to be a statement by the office of the president.
We think it's going to happen right now. We're watching state television here now, who are running their titles.
We were actually filming in the square because there were hundreds of people who were there praying.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. My fellow citizens, at these hard circumstances our country is experiencing, President Mohammed Hosni Mubarak has decided to waive the office of the President of the Republic and instructed the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces to run the affairs of the country. May God guide our steps.
Listen to that crowd. That's what they've been waiting for. Hosni Mubarak has gone.
The whole idea of Egyptians just being submissive and worshipping their pharaoh, all this is just, you know, no one can ever say this again. I am so proud. I am so proud.
As an Egyptian, I felt a great sense of pride in that a country that had been so criticized for so many years, that its people were dormant, politically apathetic, disenfranchised, disengaged. Over the course of 3 weeks, they found their voice, and their voice on this night was heard.
To be part of the success of one of the world's most attractive countries for FDI, please push the button. For more power to your global business, invest in Turkey.
He's taken stolen goods and he's now dumping them onto the world without any sort of consideration for consequences.
From people making the news.
If the North will be saved a lot of trouble, I think it is important that they should come together.
To those it affects.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines.
Most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
On counting the cost, food, why does it cost so much and how many more millions are being priced out of the basics? We'll hear directly from the World Bank for its take on an ongoing crisis. Plus big business, as Nokia and Microsoft join forces, we assess the tech market. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
Unrest in Libya's capital, Tripoli, reports that the state TV station has been ransacked and that buildings are on fire. You're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. I'm Fuli Batibo. It's 9 GMT, 11 in the morning in Libya. The latest from there in just a moment. Plus, we'll be in Bahrain. The Bahrainis calling for their rulers to go, say they'll never quit. Here's one leader who may be preparing to step aside. Sudan's president won't run for re-election, says his party. And the only Mumbai attacker to be captured alive loses his appeal against the death sentence. We begin in Libya, and there have been more protests in the capital, Tripoli. There are reports that the state TV station has been sacked and that buildings are on fire. That's according to the AFP news agency. All this just hours after Muammar Gaddafi's son said his father is still in charge and will fight until the last man and the last bullet. More than 200 protesters have been killed in the crackdown so far. Let's speak now to Salahuddin Abdullah. He's one of the organizers of the protests in Libya's second city, Benghazi. Joins us on the line from there now. Salahuddin, just tell us first about the scene in Benghazi right now. What's happening there?
Well, good morning, everybody. The scene in Benghazi is joyous. People are naturally celebrating. They're ecstatic about the gains, and there is euphoria, and whatever comes with euphoria. The situation is, however, calm. Civil committees have been set up to protect properties, be it governmental or private. We are obviously trying to stop what Saif Islam is trying to do by spreading weapons to try to actually to do what he promised to do yesterday, which is cause civil war. But people are submitting their weapons at the designated areas in the courthouse and in the mosques, and the situation is relatively calm.
So the situation is calm. Salahuddin, can you confirm to me right now that the city of Benghazi is no longer under military control?
It is no longer under military control. It is completely under the demonstrators' control. We're having the tribal leaders chipping in, everybody's chipping in to try to set up civil committees to run the city. We have already successfully set up a committee to protect the subsidized goods warehouses, which are paramount because they have the flour and grains which are necessary for the bread in the city. So things are progressing, be it slow, but definitely